Welcome back one and all, and thanks for joining me for another review. Let's get going, shall we? Story. Although there is a campaign to this game, I don't think that's really the point. But there is one there for you, as simple as it may be, basically being guided through levels to a AI program called Dallas. But do steady yourself for a shock ending. But admittedly, there were some standout moments to this campaign, and some moments that made me chuckle. But that won't be the only campaign you encounter within Gunscape, as it's kind of split into two games for two types of people. Firstly, you have the FPS shooting side, and then you get the level world building side for those who like to build a better world, or hell. Feel free at any time during the video to hit them like and subscribe buttons if you're enjoying the content and want more. Gameplay. So, as I mentioned, there's two games here. The shooting side sees you playing some preset campaigns, but you're also able to play other players' campaigns and levels as well. And this side of things could take the shape of a full campaign or just a level split into co-op or online, or even online battle-like games. Or you can just go offline and solo it as much as you like. This side of the game played pretty well, but I did have a few little hiccups with a few little stutters here and there, with a couple of crashes whilst playing. And good friend of the channel, Switch Stars, had a few similar little issues as I did, but I also had to restart the game a couple of times because it kept on pausing after 3 or 4 seconds on and on and on, which kind of like started to annoy. But after I reset the game, it was fine. And I think this was from it losing communication with the server, which is why after I reset the game it seemed fine. The other issue was kind of like a frame rate issue. I can't see why, but it was there nonetheless at times. And if you haven't already, you may want to go and check out his channel, as it's a very good channel, one of my favourites, and drop him a sub while you're there. So, from a pure gamer's view, Gunscape has a lot to offer. If you're into your old school FPSs, technically you should have an endless supply of new content to tuck into practically all the time. I would also say of this mode, it is not the best to handle or looking. But with so much content potentially added to the game from other players and DLC incoming, it makes that price tag all the tastier. There is plenty of settings to adjust your controls and sensitivity, and as I said before, I don't think the main campaign added by the devs is the point to this game, as I can already see rip-offs of other games being added. And some have a little parkour to them as well, which is something to think about. I will also say that if you're expecting a competent AI, then this is possibly not going to deliver for you. But as the AI can be rather useless at times, standing around sometimes and even shooting back, I think you get a decent range of enemies though, which is nice and does stop the game from getting boring too quickly. The online, however, I cannot speak for, as I had an early review key and I could not find a game due to not many people having the game. But this hopefully will change on release, and with some luck we'll have loads of people playing it online and getting their shootery fun on. There are a load of online modes and it would be a shame to see them go to waste. Okay. So that creative side, well, it's no Minecraft, let's put it that way, but it is simple to use and comes already preloaded, so everything just works when you put it down. Like the enemies and weapons, they all just work. which means there's no messing around with pointing enemies and making sure that they move in the right areas, which is very useful for novices. Blocks can be set out very easy, so even the most novice builders out there can make something out of nothing. You can even set modes, name the level with a description, and set snapshots for thumbnails of what the game's got on offer. I have to admit that if I didn't suffer from OCD, I probably would have played this mode a lot more. But I could feel myself being drawn into this mode, and that's not a good thing, as I would just basically spend days building things, and I just sheerly do not have the time now. And once I get gripped, I have to finish projects. So I just did something very basic just to get the hang of it and see what it's all about. And all in all, it was not a terrible experience, and I can see others really digging into it, and who knows, I may go back and return and just let myself create for an entire day and see what comes of it. It did actually fascinate me thinking anyone could come along and play my creation, and maybe even rate it. I doubt high from what I've made so far, but you never know. Visuals and sound. The music was decent and I enjoyed listening to the most of it, and I thought it was a cool idea that you can actually add these into your levels as you create them. The sounds are pretty well what you'd expect for the era it was trying to emulate, and that goes for the look of the game too, although sometimes it looked better than other times. Plenty of different assets to use in creative, and a few enemies and weapons kept it feeling at least a little different throughout the campaign. The score. In short, this is one of them games that will definitely appeal to a lot out there. Some loving an almost endless supply of different gaming FPS experiences, or at least that's the theory, and then those who love to create and share the love. I have enjoyed Gunscape, even though I run into a few problems here and there. I do think Gunscape, however, deserves a 7 out of 10, purely because I think they priced it fairly, and also because of all that potential, and if things go well and as they should, then this one's going to keep you busy long after purchase. So go ahead and leave a comment below letting me know what you think of Gunscape. And also go ahead and hit them like and subscribe buttons if you've enjoyed my content and want more on a weekly basis. If you want to keep the conversation going, then jump on over to our Switchheads community Discord. That's your lot. Take care of yourselves. Be safe out there, because life is better when we switch together.